Hello, it's Bishop Mark, and we're on chapter 4. And we're going to do just the first two verses today, because there's things that we can discuss with these two verses, and I like to discuss them with you. Ready? Here we go. Filled with the Holy Spirit, Jesus returned from the Jordan. Okay, let's stop there. Now, remember that John the Baptist was baptizing people in the Jordan River, in the Jordan area, and that Jesus was baptized by John. And when that happened, the heavens opened and the Holy Spirit descended like a dove. And God said, "You are my son." Well, Jesus was filled with the Holy Spirit. I mean, he'd just been declared by God his son, who he is well pleased. And he saw the symbol of the Holy Spirit, the dove, and so he's filled with the Holy Spirit. And so he returns from that area. Now let's see what he does when he returns. So, filled with the Holy Spirit, Jesus returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the desert for 40 days to be tempted by the devil. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. So the first part is that he was led by the Spirit. Now the Holy Spirit can lead us. Certainly can lead Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, who has our relationship with God is nothing like his. But nevertheless, we are filled with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit does lead us. And notice that where the Holy Spirit led Jesus is into the desert. Now that's an interesting place to begin. So he's begun his ministry, and the first thing he does is he goes to the desert to be all by himself. Well, it is good to say our prayers all by ourselves sometimes. We say them at church, in a community. We say them with our family. But it's also good to be with God all by ourselves. And sometimes, especially when you get to be an adult, it's good to go away for a bit to pray. Jesus went away for 40 days just to pray, just to be alone with God, just to process all the stuff he just learned. So he was led by his Spirit. He was compelled to go. This is what he had to do. His whole being was telling him to go to the desert to speak with God. Okay, he did it for 40 days. Now, 40 days is not just a random number. So in the Old Testament, remember this, the Old Testament, Moses, which was a great figure, a wonderful person in the Old Testament, and he rescued the Jewish people who were in captivity. They were captured by the Egyptians. It's right at the beginning of the Bible. And he led them away from the Egyptians, and they went to outside of Egypt, and it was the desert. And they didn't have a home. They had been in Egypt so long that they didn't have a home, and they weren't ready to go to the place that God had picked. So they were in the desert, not for 40 days, for 40 years. 40 years in the desert, just roaming around, trying to listen to God and to find a place. So the number 40 is very significant in the Bible. That Jesus goes to the desert for 40 days is to remember that the Jewish people wandered in the desert with Moses for 40 years. It's not an accident that Jesus went for 40 days. Now we have a 40-day thing too. It's called Lent. When I'm filming this, which is in February, Lent for me at this time is next Wednesday, begins with Ash Wednesday. Now, I have no idea when you're listening to this. Could be a long time from now. So hello, future. But we all have Lent once a year, and it's 40 days. Now, in that number 40, it doesn't count Sundays. So 40 days of Lent. And what happens during Lent in our church is that we prepare ourselves for Easter. So in Easter, we celebrate that Jesus is risen from the dead. And for 40 days in each year, we have a stepping away, and we often we try to give something up, something you can give up for Lent. I usually let children pick what I give up for Lent, and one thing, and then I do something. So in addition to that, so notice I said I give something up, and I do something for Lent. So I mark the days by doing a little sacrifice. I give up something. And I give up my time to do other things. So you could think about next Lent, whether that's next Wednesday for you or whenever it is for you, that you really take your 40 days seriously and give something up or do something or do both for Lent. And you see, the number is not random. It comes from this. Jesus was in the desert for 40 days. So we go to be a sacrificial for 40 days. Okay, then it says he was tempted by the devil. What's the devil? Now, the devil is putting human qualities on bad things, which we call evil. So the devil means evil, bad things. There is bad things that happen in this world. Did God create a world with evil in it? Well, God created a good world, a perfect world, but he gave us freedom to choose to do bad things. And when we do not do bad things and we do good things for God, we use our freedom for the good. And we get to go to heaven when we die. When we misuse our freedom and we do bad things when we could be doing good things, then we are influenced by what they call the devil. Now, Jesus never sinned. Jesus was good. But he was still tempted by the devil. He was tempted because he's in this place that is, and remember, he's fully human. He's in this place that is the desert, which is all dry. And now listen else. He ate nothing during those days. And when they were over, he was very hungry. I'd be hungry too if I ate nothing for 40 days. He probably had water. But he what we call fasted. And we don't want you to eat nothing for 40 days. But eliminating some food is a sign of your trying to follow God, eliminating desserts maybe, or eliminating something is a sign of us following God, wanting to do good, making a little sacrifice for God. And Jesus made a big sacrifice. But when you don't eat, your mind does funny things. And even Jesus, in his human person, was hearing strange things and listening to tempting things in the desert. Like if I wasn't going to eat for 40 days, about a day and a half into it, I'd be thinking, oh, I could eat this. Oh, I could eat that. Maybe just this, which is a temptation. Now, devil actually gave Jesus 3 temptations. And we're going to hear what those were next time. Okay, peace to you all. Bye now.